Here is everything that I've made since I started crocheting in February of 2017. Okay, starting off with a bang, this is actually the first top that I ever made. Not even just the first top, but the first thing that I ever made. So, getting into the details, it's this like semi see-through, intentionally see-through peplum style. This was a complete video tutorial. It was by a person called Dana B. Essentially in like February of 2017, I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to crochet. And that's exactly what I did. So this was actually the first tutorial that I ever followed. It's also the first thing that I ever make. Oftentimes people will be like, Taylor, what do you recommend to be my first project? And I always tell people to just start off with something that they really, really want, because regardless of what they choose, it's gonna take a little bit of time to figure out. But if you have something that you're gonna love at the end of the day, then I feel like it's worth it, even if it is a slightly more challenging something like a top. But literally, I mean, this thing has been through like 1,001 washes. I'll turn around so you can see the whole thing. But literally, even as I'm wearing this right now, like, I love it. I would wear this to school, like to high school, all the time. I feel like in college it kind of like was no longer necessarily my style, but now that I'm wearing it right now, I fear that she eats. I think it's a combination of the color, but also just like, I don't know, the silhouette of it in general. Like I said, this is not my pattern. While most things I do completely freehand, this was my first ever project, and I did in fact follow a video tutorial. The fact that I'm about to fit into all these, like literally I made these when I was in high school. This top is from circa 2017. The base of it, so like this part down, was from a video tutorial by the same creator. But then around 2018, 2019, I ended up adapting it because it was like an off the shoulder type style initially, and because of like my bust and everything, I just don't love an off the shoulder moment, so I adapted it to have these cute straps. But here's this top. Literally fits like a glove even to this day, and I love this yarn. This is a Red Heart yarn. I think it's called Shed Some Skin. The green before was also a Red Heart yarn. I think that one was Hunter Green, maybe. Once again, I've washed this top 1,000 times. When I made this top, I was probably a true size medium. Now I'm more like a true size large sort of situation. And as you can see, she still fits like a glove, mostly because this nice lace-up design. If you can see, I don't even know how much you can see, but there's like a bunch of stitches right here because I initially made the top like way too big, and so I closed it in. And then this top is what started my love for a corset back. A corset back is going to eat every time. Now you might be able to see, or maybe not, I am wearing a bandeau for all these because I just don't feel like taking it on and off. But typically I would wear this without a bra. My things are, when I don't want them to be see-through, they're not see-through, so I could wear this without a bra. I just don't feel like taking one on and off. But I said that to say the reason why I really love a corset design is because, one, it allows for something to fit you across a variety of sizes, and number two, I feel like for girls that do have bust and things like that, the corset back allows you more of a chance to be able to wear it braless versus if it was just a top. Obviously your boobs would like sag more or whatever, but Wow, I haven't worn this, it's been a while, probably since like maybe 2021, but regardless, eating. Okay, so this was actually my first, well, rest in peace. There were a few pieces that have gotten unraveled along the way, but in this video, this is my first fully original free-handed design. I made this in the summer of 2019. Honestly, it worked up pretty quickly. It was always pretty cropped, but my boobs have grown, so it was probably like right at my belly button when I first made it. But I really love this design. I feel like it's very effortlessly girly between like the ruffles and then the tie right there. And I did continue the ruffles into the back because I hate when designs only like do the front part. So yeah, I literally have gotten so much wear out of this. This is definitely a design that I hope to bring back to my website, probably in like a longer sort of design situation, but I really love it. It's a very comfortable top even now, and like I said, I just like that it's so effortlessly girly. And boom, this is actually my first cardigan, and what a slay. I mean, the fact that this is my first cardigan, come on, she was destined for greatness. I'm kidding. I spent too long on this. I started this cardigan definitely during my freshman year of college, so like fall of 2019, and I finished it right in time to wear for Christmas. If you can't tell, it is a shaggy cardigan. This one was also made out of a red heart yarn, and then the yellow yarn that's the base of it is actually one that I thrifted. Love thrifting yarn. But yeah, the fit of this is literally amazing. It's also like the perfect crop jacket because it's like right at my belly button, and I just like how clean the inside is. All the fringe is just on the outside. I have washed this cardigan 1,000. Honestly, this isn't even a cardigan. I classify this as a jacket. Like, if it's, I can wear this in like 40-degree weather and be chilling. I can wear it in 30-degree weather also, but I would need like a thick turtleneck. But 40-degree, very much so chilling. But yeah, I have washed this 1,000 times. Up until this point, I put all these items in both the washer and the dryer because I am a cynical, crazy person. But here nor there. The one thing about this jacket in particular is that this yarn does still kind of like, what's the word? If you're wearing black, it will become covered with yarn. So I'm still trying to figure that out because, once again, this was something that I completely freehanded. I do know that other shaggy cardigans and things like that exist, but I didn't end up liking any of the tutorials that I found, so I ended up completely freehanding this. But I do have plans on selling it eventually. This was a pretty time-consuming cardigan, not necessarily like actually making it, but the amount of yarn that you need, and then like cutting all the yarn and then tying all the yarn to like build it up to have, you know, the perfect shaggy look is quite a time-consuming process. I've made one for both me and my mother. So yeah, I've done this twice now. I do have plans to eventually sell this style because I mean, I personally just love it. I feel like it would be fun to sell it in like this length and maybe even like a longer length. I don't know. But it's one of the reasons why I have so much of this pink yarn, because I feel like this is destined to be a pink shaggy jacket. How cute. So yeah, this is my actual first ever cardigan slash jacket from 2019. And boom, we're now in pandemic times. So I made this top in 2020. This was, once again, completely free-handed. This probably was at the very beginning of the pandemic, so March/April of 2020. The story of this yarn is actually really funny. So right before the pandemic started, there was like this really big sale at Salvation Army. Like they were having like a half off sale at Salvation Army. And right before the pandemic, I literally was bringing my boyfriend to meet my family for the first time. So my boyfriend was in town. We go to the sale, we get a bunch of stuff, but when we were checking out, I saw that they had like a lot of this color yarn and then like another color of yarn, and it was, like I said, half off. So it was probably like 50 cents, maybe 50 cents a skein, maybe 75 cents a skein, something like that. But for some reason I didn't end up buying it. I'm not sure why at that moment, but here nor there, I didn't end up getting it. That night, me and my boyfriend were gonna be meeting with my dad for dinner, and so we go to dinner and my dad is like, oh, I have a surprise for you. And I was like, okay, cool, lit. So after dinner we go to his car and he pulls out a bag from Salvation Army, and it had all the yarn that I had seen. We love a thrifting king, and we also love a dad who supports his daughter's passions. Anywho, this was the first thing that I made from that yarn. If you remember 2020, especially at the beginning, cottagecore was like such a thing. So this was like my take on like a cottagecore made type, you know, vibe. Starting with the little frillies in the front as well as on the sleeve, and then the back. Can't we talk about the back? I kept with the like ruffles, and then I have this little like fake corseted sort of situation that I actually like a lot because it just like cinches in the waist part pretty nice. I would say this still fits pretty decently. I would definitely prefer it to be a little bit longer, but even at the time I had made it a little bit shorter, so yeah. And here we have our first set. Oof. So this was also from pandemic 2020. I think I made this maybe like April/May, maybe in May. Let's talk about it. These shorts were such a journey to make. The amount of times that I redid like the base part was crazy. How did I end up doing it? Yeah, I ended up doing like the like 2-panel sort of situation. Wow. Because I was trying to get this like nice like flared out, you know, loungy type vibe, and it just was not, it was not working out. That being said, I do feel like they turned out pretty perfect. They're definitely on the shorter side, but at this time I was just creating pieces that were more like loungy and whatnot. Now this top this top actually started off as like a bikini top. It was actually a really cute design. It also did have these little rosettes or whatever. I know it kind of looks like polka dots, but they're supposed to be like rosettes or like a delicate flower type situation. But this yarn was like too thick. I was like, Taylor, why would anybody want to wear this yarn into the ocean or a pool? So I ended up sort of creating a top design from it. I will admit this is not my favorite design, mostly because it doesn't accommodate for a bigger chest too well. Like my boobs are supposed to be in these cups, and that would not work right now. I do, however, really like the back. I did this like keyhole back sort of design, and in general like it fits pretty well. This boob part is just kind of weird. I think on another note, I don't love the colors that I chose. I told you color is just not really like working with multiple colors at one time is not necessarily my expertise. I think I end up like freezing really bad and I kind of get a little bit indecisive. So yeah, this is not probably my favorite thing ever, but I would never unravel it or anything, because one thing that was going on during 2020 was my grandmother was really sick with cancer, and I remember once I wore this when I was going over there to like babysit her, and I was telling her all my griefs that I had with the set. She was like, well, I think it's beautiful. And so in her honor, I will never ever unravel this, but she is not my favorite. If the set before was not my favorite, meet my favorite. Well, you're gonna see I have a lot of favorites, but this is definitely a top contender. Okay, so this was intended to be like a cutesy little lounge where you're walking around the house. You maybe are going, like this could also be pajama type moment. Let's get into it. So you have a short sort of situation that in the front it kind of looks like a skirt-ish, but then on the side it has this really cute high slit that kind of gives like a little bit cheeky, but like not all the way, you know. And then in the back it's just like regular coverage. This was the first time that I did a waistband that was encased, and this is when I realized that I just love the finish. As you can see, even the top has a hem. Now I will say the top is not necessarily my favorite. I think I would prefer more of a tank top style. I think it just, yeah, I don't know. This is just not the type of top I would typically wear to bed, but it definitely was a design choice. I actually made a matching situation for my mom. You can see in the pics here. So yeah, this one is a design where I did it in the round. That's why I would say it's not super flattering on my stomach, to be honest with you. It's definitely giving a slight pouch look, but I don't know. I decided not to do the like short panel sort of situation because the side slit was really important to me. And yeah, I don't know. Also, this yarn. Okay, this is made out of the Lion brand Feels Like Butter yarn, and oh my gosh, it's so freaking soft. It feels like a microfiber towel slash like one of those couches that are kind of like that microfiber type texture. Softest yarn I've ever used in my entire life, and it does so well in the wash. I actually have some in pink right here. This is completely my design if I didn't mention that. I do plan on releasing these eventually because both I love my set and my mom loves her set, but it just hasn't been like high on the priority list just because it is more like it's such a loungy sort of situation. It's not like something you would necessarily wear out, but I do have yarn here for the day when I want to remake a pair. This is not one of my favorites for a collection of reasons. So as you can see, we have this like v-neck tank top sort of style that I use this like mustard color yarn, and then I believe this is Karen Kindness apricot, maybe. It's like a collection of an assortment of different colors. So I have this like frilly thing on the sleeve, and then in the back I have like a lowish back and then like an extra tie sort of situation right here. I don't love this one for a few reasons. I don't love this color on me. This like mustardy yellow color. Also, I don't love the stitch that I use. I did like a a double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet. So like every other row was a slip stitch, which was like, why was that the choice? I also, so this top initially was a halter top that I then didn't like the halter top, so then I made it into this. And so the back has like this old way that I used to do my halter tops with like a vertical stitch in the back and then a horizontal stitch in the front. I didn't say this was freehanded, but yeah, she's not my fave. I just don't feel like it's super duper flattering. The only reason why, oh, and I also cropped it. What? Anyways, I just don't think that she's super duper flattering. And the only reason why I keep it is because I want to use this yarn for something, but I'm just not sure what it is. But even I do have flops. All of this changing is really, my hair is just like not super happy. Anywho, here is a better yellow design. This actually is like not the original design. The original design was like this. I haven't been saying for the past few, but all of these up until now have been from, or like the past 2 or 3 have been from the summer of 2020. I was working on a collection, and so yeah, all these things were things that I was making for said collection. I actually don't hate this top. I think that it's a very fun one shoulder moment. I liked the ruche sides with like the little tie sort of situation. I like what I did with this like strap. I feel like the biggest obstacle here is just the choice of yarn. This is also another Red Heart yarn, and at this time I was just really using the yarn that I had in stock. Like the yarn that I had, I was purchasing yarn, but like I wasn't doing too much exploring. I was using mostly like your typical like Red Heart and stuff like that. I feel like this design with like the type of crocheting I do nowadays would really eat, and maybe we'll have to bring it back. But I don't hate, but I don't love. I'm just kind of like eh. I mean once again, this was another 2020 make. I want to say I probably made this around June time. I don't remember wearing this for my birthday, so it must have been after my birthday, but definitely sometime in June. This is probably one of my best color combinations to date. Like this is once again that Karen Kindness peach apricot color. Very devastated that they do not sell this color anymore because I love it. Getting into the silhouette, this is actually a skirt. Yes, these are shorts, and then I just attached this little front panel. This is all completely my design. If I turn around, you also see that it's shorts. I do really like the idea for this skirt. I am a skirt girl. I love skirts. I will say that this yarn is probably a little bit too thick for my liking. I definitely have a love-hate relationship with Red Heart. At this current time period in 2024, I would not make a single thing for my customers using Red Heart. I just think that's not, while it's a great yarn for beginners to like practice and like figure out what they like making, I would not say that this is a yarn that you want to be selling to your customers, because it's probably the most like, while there are some softer Red Hearts out there, not all of them are rough by any means. They're all really on like the thicker side, and so especially for like a summer piece, this is not the yarn. This is not the yarn that you should be using. This Karen Kindness one is actually pretty solid, but the Red Heart, Anywho, I do have this little tie slide here where I alternated a like colorful strap and then a blue strap, and then obviously you can see the top. This is like one of my favorite top designs. I don't really do this kind of thing anymore, or at least I haven't recently, but I love it. I love a like tied one shoulder or even two shoulder, but especially on one shoulder. It just feels so, once again, effortlessly girly. And yeah, she's super cute. While this set definitely does have its fit issues and just like, I mean, what was I doing here? It does have its issues. I would never unravel it because honestly, she ate. I'm gonna put in some of the photos here because like you can tell in the photos just how I knew. This set ate. And boom. This here is my indecisive 4-in-1 top. It does use the same turquoise yarn, so it is red heart, not my fave, but for reasons that you're about to see, she is the best. So first off, we have this like classic tank top type of style with this lowish back, and you can see the straps just kind of peeking through. Yeah, that's style one. Here is the second way. This is probably the way I wear it the most, just as like your typical halter neck style. I feel like this very much so gives 2020 vibes, as it should. That's when this was made. But this whole like cross front sort of design, very 2020. And the back like so. I think this is cute. Not necessarily how I mean, and this is probably my favorite way. It's like this one shoulder crossover type vibe. This is it in the back, but I just feel like this is so elegant and it makes this top extremely versatile. My hair at this point is just like, save me. We're almost done. Anyways, so this is called the Unravel Me Bralette. I made this in the fall of 2020, so at this point I'm back at school. My collection had launched, whatever. We are still very much so during pandemic times, but I just chose to go back to school in person instead of staying at home. And as a way to kind of like inspired me to get creative again, I did this series called Seductive Saturdays, where but a lot of Saturdays I would post a bralette with a coordinating mask. Yes, that's right. This top right here actually has a mask to go with it. I actually think this mask is super duper cute. I did tend to like, not tend, for all the masks that I sold or gave to people, I did actually line, but this one I never really wore too much. It was just like a cute thing to pair with this. Anyways, as you can see, here is the top. It's just kind of like your typical like square neck bralette sort of situation, and then I am wearing a bandeau still, but then it just kind of like ties all the back. I do like this top quite a bit. I feel like I could definitely do some things to like enhance it. I also kind of got lazy and didn't feel like tying it in the best kind of ways, but I do like kind of like, even though it is more bralette than it is top, for the right person, I feel like it gives you enough coverage that you could wear this as a top should you choose. Not that you can't wear any bralette as a top, but I feel like more people like myself might wear this as a top versus your typical bralette. I probably wouldn't. So yeah. Wow. This right here is my favorite piece to date. When it comes to like a piece that I wear probably every week, at least once a week, even during the summer. When it comes to a piece that I have like made alterations to throughout time, this is that girl for me. So this right here is the NYGC cardigan. It was initially named the Tea Party cardigan when I first made it in October-ish of 2020, but she is now the NYGC cardigan because she is a staple. Okay, let's get into the construction. So we have kind of like a, I would call this like a regular length. Like it's not cropped, but it's also like not super past your butt. It's just like a regular length cardigan. I decided to go with sort of like a bomber jacket style cut, kind of like granny-esque, you know, but like elevated granny. I also did decide to go with a pretty thick balloon sleeve. Now I have had this cardigan for like what, almost 4 years now, so obviously the sleeves have like kind of taken its own shape over time, but the idea is for it to be a balloon sleeve of sorts. I also have my favorite detail, which is this cutesy little ribbed ruffle or ribbed cuff with a ruffle sort of situation. When I tell you I spent so much time trying to figure out what my cardigan was going to look like, because I really wanted something, like I said, that was going to be a brand staple and that was going to be unique to NYGC. And you know, I would see like other businesses have other sorts of cardigans that they became known for, and I was like, you know, like I like that element or I like that element. And it wasn't until I came across this one account, I don't think they even sell them anymore, but they were called Donkey Knits, and they made these gorgeous knit beautiful cardigans and sweaters. And one staple that they had on their cardigan, they had like a thinner sleeve, but they had this beautiful gorgeous ruffled sleeve sort of situation. And so I was like, ooh, I love that. What would that look like crochet? And so this cardigan in general has definitely evolved over time, but the ruffled hem around the cuff is here to stay. Some other things to know is that I did decide to continue the ribbing at the bottom as well as on the side. Another NYGC staple is on all my cardigans. I do have buttons, as you can see, but in addition to buttons, I do also have snaps, because for me personally, like all the times I was trying to make an effective workable crochet button sort of situation, I always found that the hole was either too big or too small, so it didn't stay closed enough. But with the snaps, it's very easy. For every full size, I of course have to have cropped. I mean, I am a cropped girl, as you can tell by my tops, by my cardigans. I do love a crop. I do understand the necessity for full length items, but I don't know, cropped always just eats. So when I made my regular length NYGC cardigan, I also knew that I was going to have to make a cropped version. And once again, I just feel like the silhouette of this cardigan, with it being more of like a bomber style, it just makes for like the most perfect girly sort of look. I would say that these sleeves fit more like how if you were to buy a cardigan for me today would fit. The blue one has been through a lot, okay, like a lot. But this one I haven't really touched this up, maybe one time for like the sleeve, but that's pretty much it. It does have all the same features, including the buttons with the snaps, the sleeve. Love it so much. I fear that things have been going too well. And when things go too well, you know we need to throw a flop in there. And this is her. So this little number, I was really excited because I thrifted this yarn. It's Red Heart Hyge, Hyge, in the color lavender, maybe, I don't know. It's super duper soft, super duper freaking soft. And I was like, okay, I have this vision for this like v-neck collared I even have like little pearl buttons, sort of cardigan. And she did not execute. Me, I did not execute. I don't know what happened, but yeah, the fit of the v-neck is just kind of really weird. I think I made the shoulder too thin or something. Yeah, I don't really know. She's not my favorite. She is extremely comfortable though, so I don't plan on unraveling her until I figure out something else to do with it. I think I made this around the fact that I just pushed my glasses up with my finger, what, like touching the glass, am I insane? Anyways, I don't have plans to unravel this until I figure out another design that I want to make with this. It is very comfy cozy. It's just very, it's not very well constructed. But yeah, towards the end of 2020, there was a lot going on with my family. I told you that my grandma was battling cancer. She ended up passing away towards the end of 2020. I was thankful that actually my school ended up going on lockdown in November, so we didn't finish out the semester in person. So I did get to spend a lot of time with my grandma before she passed away. But yeah, there was definitely a lull in creativity between November 2020 and it honestly lasted quite a long time. Like November 2020 all the way up until maybe like 2021, summer of 2021. I tried a few things, and even then a lot of things didn't really stick. So yeah, as you're about to see, there was a bit of a lull. Prior to that lull, I did dip my toe into a few accessories when I got home from like being sent home from school in November 2020. I want to do like a revamp of my website and include some accessories, and I made some bandanas. This is the only bandana I have from that era, and let me show you why I hate this bandana. Okay, as a big-haired natural girly, it just does not satisfy the things that I personally need my bandana to do. Okay, but why it's not looking as bad as it typically looks, but it just doesn't, with the fact that I have so much hair, it doesn't make my hair into the shape that I prefer it to. I just kind of feel like Addie from An American Girl doll. Yeah, not it. But I do think that the bandana itself is cute. It just isn't the complementary shape for my hair / my head. While the bandana was a bit of a flop, the scrunchies were actually quite a success. So this was the first version of my scrunchie. It's definitely like a thinner, this one is like a thinner sort of situation. I know there's a lot of different ways to make a scrunchie. I prefer to make it as like, the best way to describe it as like an encased tube sort of situation. It just feels the most like a scrunchie to me. I don't love the way where you like do the double crochets actually on the tie. This one is like just okay. This one, which I made in November 2020, I'll put it against my white shirt, is my girl. This right here is my girl, okay? I've had this scrunchie since November 2020. I have washed her at least every 2 weeks probably since November 2020, and this is my girl. This is the Jumbo NYGC scrunchie, or Jumbo scrunchie, something like that. It is on my website. This is my most used scrunchie. I wear this scrunchie every single day of my life. Whether it's to bed or out, I wear this right here black scrunchie every single day of my life. Do you want to know the amount of times that I panicked because I'll put it on my wrist, like if I go out, and I'm like one of those people that like gets weird about things on her wrist, so then I'll take it off. Do you want to know how many times I panicked because I thought I lost the scrunchie? I don't have too many, well, I don't have too many physical attachments to like inanimate objects, but me and the scrunchie, if anything were to happen to this scrunchie, I would go into a deep, dark depression. And I'm not even joking about that, because if you saw my reactions to, I want to say I've lost a scrunchie probably like 2 or 3 times, I was devastated to the point of tears over a crochet scrunchie, something that I could easily make again. But there's something about this here scrunchie, I don't know, it just, while I'm talking about it, it just really does what I needed to do for my, like, I mean, I really want my scrunchies to become a best-selling item. I know you're probably like, I think this is maybe $30 on my website. You're like, $30 for a crochet scrunchie? Let me just tell you, if you buy anything, please buy the crochet scrunchie. I do have a smaller version on my website for people that have thinner hair, as I know not everyone has as much hair as I do, but please take a look at the scrunchie. She is the best. And I do make her with like a more, it's hard to show, a more silkier yarn, so it's not like very rough at all. I mean, as you just saw, I just snatched out my hair. Please take a look into these scrunchies. And kind of one of the last things that I made before I went into my lull is this bag. This is an NYGC market bag. I do currently sell these on my website. They are literally the best perfect bags for like just kind of like throwing them on the go. Now it is like a mesh stitch. I mean, things don't really slip through here. I've never had anything fall out necessarily, but like I would probably put my cards and stuff in a wallet and stuff. It's always hard to show how much these stretch out, but I'll just put this ceramic bowl so that you can see. She definitely stretches out quite a bit and I completely designed her to function for pool, beach, farmer's market, picnic type vibes. Well, the majority of this pattern is mine. I freehanded it. I did take inspiration from a viral video from Amazing-ish Grace. She made a type of bag like this out of crocheting plastic bags. Like she made plastic bags into yarn and then made a mesh bag similar to this. I did not end up following her pattern, but that is where I got the inspiration for this bag. It was kind of difficult for me to figure out where to place the skirt in like this loose timeline that I'm trying to create. Originally, I made this skirt in 2020 as part of this cutesy little set. And then I think in 2022, I ended up trying to make a birthday set for myself, so I took off all of the like sunflowers and stuff like that, and then ever since then it's been this sort of plain vibe, which I actually really like. It is definitely a mini skirt. Hello. It is definitely a mini skirt, but it is like a comfortable length in my opinion. Like I can definitely do things. It does have a slit on either side just to make it feel slightly more elevated. It does also have an elastic waistband, and I'm wearing regular underwear. If I told you that my underwear was bright pink, you would not even have known. So that's the skirt. It's time to introduce the thing that changed my business forever. This right here is my original OG NYGC handbag. I taught myself how to needlepoint September of 2021-ish, and initially I was working on another bag. I never finished that bag, and then I started working on this bag and ended up releasing it February 7th March-ish of 2022. This is the original size and the only size that I sold at a time period. Some details to get into is there is like a logo detail here that says NYGC, or Not Your Grandma's Crochet. I was definitely inspired by Telfar, but I was even more inspired by Brandon Blackwood's and Systemic Racism tote, as well as the Sis Store's Protect Black Women tote. So yeah, that's where the design kind of came from. Like I said, this is needlepoint. The base of this is needlepoint plastic canvas, and then I have crocheted all together, as well as added a number of crochet details, making this a crochet and needlepoint handbag. Other things to know are it does come with a strap, or the original style came with a strap that was in fact completely adjustable. Some details that I had from the very beginning: I did always have purse feet. I had like the little place for you to like take the strap on and off, and on the inside I do in fact have pockets. So yeah, this was the first rendition. Now after I launched that bag, I got a pretty good reception from that bag, and people were like, hey, I would really love if you made a smaller version. Little did they know I already had a smaller version in the works, and I really wanted to release them at the same time, but God worked it all out, and I ended up releasing the smaller size later down the line. This is, or was at the time, the small NYGC handbag. I did end up making a few updates to it. I can't tell if you can tell, but the NYGC is definitely slightly bigger. I just felt like I wanted to pop out a little bit more, even though it definitely blends into the bag. I just wanted to be more prominent on the front. I also did make the side place that connects the strap a lot longer, just because while the shorter version was completely fine, it didn't like come off or anything like that. I just felt like the longer version looked better. And then lastly, this version does have a way to close it. I ended up just sort of sewing on metallic clasp to make it close. This worked in most cases, but as I found later on, the more like as a purse girl, I want to put a lot of stuff in my purse, and having it be like a closure like this where you're just pinching the front and the back piece together meant that if you have a lot of stuff in your bag, you couldn't close it. So I do eventually correct that. And this bag in fact does have a strap as well. And yeah, some other things to note is that the handle is more of like a curled design. I personally love the way these handles look. I wish that, as you'll see in the later renditions, I wish that those handles could look more like this, but I just found that over time when I would make the bags, because I made quite a few of these bags, when I would make these bags, sometimes when I was curling it together, the plastic canvas would actually split, and it didn't happen every time, but the few times that it did happen, it was extremely frustrating, because then I would have to remake something, and two, it would make me stressed because I'm like, has another person's handle done this that I sold it to? Hated that. So I ended up having to change this design, but we'll get to that later. Some other things that I launched during this time, and this time in particular is April 2022, are a few more accessories. So I did in fact improve my bandana design. As you will see, it allows for it to like actually cup my freaking head so much better. This design is now available on my website. I have improved it ever so slightly more since, but it's pretty much the exact same. Boom. I still pushed it too far back. But yeah, I mean, it's not like a super big noticeable difference, but especially when I'm wearing my hair like with a scrunchie or something in it, I just find that this holds my hair in a lot better. That's the best way I could describe it. I did also make a blue version of the scrunchie, and so you can see, cute, cute, love. In addition to the bandana, I did also create a headband like so. I really need to list these on my website. Comment below if you would be interested in this headband being on the website. The scrunchie and bandana are already listed, but if you would be interested in the bandana or the headband, let me know. I'm constantly looking for like more lower price things that I could put, and I easily can list this bandana for like, I don't know, $12. It takes no time at all. This is the look all together with the matching skirt. Eats. And last but not least, from this April/May 2022 collection was this here top, which literally, oh, I love this top. I would say I get a pretty fair amount of wear for this top. I just love it because it does give like casual vibes. Like, let's say you and your friends are going to brunch, but it's like a relaxed brunch. It's not giving like wear a dress type brunch, but you do want to look a bit more put together. This top with some like flare pants like I have, and then like a really fun and funky shoe, and then a bag, eats. I mean, the front is super cute. I would say the front is like super girly, delicate, whatever. The fact that I'm wearing this bandeau underneath is definitely killing it. I do not typically wear any bandeau or whatever. When I wear this, I usually just supports my boobs or whatever. But even with the bandeau, I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. Oh, I guess my hair is kind of covering it. But yeah, it has a crossed back sort of design. It's extremely comfortable on my shoulders, considering it's literally holding up my entire top. And yeah, I don't know, I just really love this design. It is not currently on my website. I do have plans to bring it back, but I want to create a skirt and whole like look sort of situation center around it. I would pair this top with the skirt I had on previously, but they're not the same yarn, and that would just kind of like irritate me from time to time. So yeah, leave a comment below if you would be interested in this top coming back to my website. It was a pretty good seller, and I mean, it's not too complicated of a design in the slightest, considering it's really just about making sure that the front fits like a glove. But yeah, if I didn't mention, everything for the rest of this video is completely my design. For the most part, everything I make is free-handed, but yeah, that's just like the overarching disclaimer. And here we have another NYGC cardigan. This is a full-length version. When I initially I made this in December of 2022. When I initially finished it, I was actually a little bit disappointed with the fit. Like, I was trying to just remake it to make sure that like my pattern was still doing all good, and the initial fit was just like not giving. But I realized that this cardigan, you kind of have to let it marinate for a little bit for it to like stretch out how you want and stuff. That's why this fall is really committed to like making some more versions of this, because while I knew that this was the type of cardigan that was gonna like grow with you over time, I want to like really get it down to a science so I can tell my customers, hey, like when it arrives, it's gonna fit you, but it'll get like really nice and oversized after like 3 washes. I don't know, whatever that number is. That's what I really want to accomplish with this. The final things that I finished in 2022 were these 3 NYGC handbags. These are pretty close to how they now are on my website. This is the medium size. I designed it to fit a laptop. It perfectly fits my 13.3-inch MacBook Pro. I designed it to like really be able to hold, you know, things for school, the office, even for a beach day, whatever you want to use this bag for, just know that it can definitely carry a lot. It has all the same situations. It does have a strap. This strap is slightly thicker than the small and the mini strap, just because I wanted it to be slightly more padded so that you don't feel the weight too much, like the weight of the stuff in the bag on your shoulder, whatever. Additionally, for these bags, I did end up making like a expandable closure sort of situation, just to allow for you to put the maximum amount of things in here and it still be able to close. Another thing, I ended up selling a whole bunch of the blue small that I showed previously, and in some of the TikToks a person commented, was like, hey, like you should make an additional little piece to go at the bottom for the purse feet. And so I did take that suggestion to heart, and now that is standard. I really like it because it means when you look on the inside, you cannot see the metal of the purse feet at all, and that's really important to me. Additionally, as you can see, this version actually has a pretty long pocket that has like 3 little sections in it. Then the next size down is the small. This one I always say is about 60% of the medium. It fits pretty much like your, I don't know, a little bit more than your daily essentials, I would say. Like this could fit like a snack. This could fit a snack. It could fit like yarn. Like those sort of essentials. If you're a type of person that has like a bigger wallet, this could fit that. Versus the mini that I had at the time is definitely more so for like your actual essentials. Like what do you need for the day? Your phone, your cards, your lip gloss, and your keys. That's what was fitting into this bad boy. If you're familiar with my brand, this is no longer the size, or this didn't end up becoming the size of my mini. That is actually the size of my mini, but I will actually be bringing this size back this summer, just because while I don't think that it's like a proper mini bag, it is a size that I actually wear quite frequently, just because, especially if I'm going to an event or something, whether it's like a more dressed up event or a dressed down event, this is just really easy to like carry with me throughout. I don't feel like I'm lugging around a big huge bag, and I also don't feel like I'm having something that I'm just like constantly having to like throw over my shoulder. This being something that I can easily just like throw around and not worry about things falling out is really cute. So yeah, these are my 3 babies. These are, or were, my first samples for what ended up becoming my finalized sizes, and they're also happen to be in my favorite colors. So these are some of my most treasured possessions. I mean, along with everything else that I've shown you today, but these in particular, if anything were to happen to them, I would cry. These and my scrunchies, I would cry. That's a wrap for part 1 of this video. I know you're thinking to yourself, Taylor, there's literally a whole nother tier to this rack. Why aren't you showing me that? This video is literally, it's at least 30 minutes long, if not 50. So sorry. So you're gonna have to come back next week to see everything that I've made from 2023 through this year, something like that, which is a lot. I feel like my design aesthetic really changed in 2023, and so it's only right that I did one video showing you kind of like the inspiration and how my designs evolved, and then in the next video you get to see what it's actually become of all these cutesy little beginner pieces. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, please comment so many things down below. Like, I am so intrigued about learning more about my brand new audience, more about what you guys like to craft. If you're a crocheter, what do you like to make? Talking about this video, please let me know some of your favorite things. I did mention, or try to mention, all the things that are currently on my website, but to go over the NYGC cardigans, both the cropped and regular, are on my website. The medium, small, well, the medium and small NYGC handbags are on my website. The mini is, but it's not the mini that I showed, but a mini is on my website. Additionally, the scrunchie and the bandana are on my website, and the blue mini skirt is on my website. And the market bag, the turquoise market bag. But let me know some of the other things that you would love for me to bring back. I do have plans on upgrading, elevating some of the styles from 2020 and whatnot. I just haven't gone to it, but let me know. I would love to hear. Additionally, follow me on my other social medias, Instagram, TikTok. Would love to connect with you guys over there. And until next time, bye you guys.